tree. Got about a half a cup of that lean. I said, go on and kick your feet up. I'ma go ahead and twist the weed up. She said, cool to say what I think. I said, go on and do what you feel. She said, bend me over that sink. I said, damn, you wish it's my will. I get the feeling that you might be. Did I turn you on? You can tell me if I'm wrong. Got a feeling that you might be. And we ain't even smoked, but you swear I got that dope. And I'm thinking you like to be. Every word I speak got you flowing off your seat. And I'm knowing that you like me. Oh, you high, babe. High, babe. Oh, babe, I'm feeling so stuck. Laid up on the couch, got fingers in your mouth, girl. Bring it closer. Before my heart comes down, my heart comes down. I can barely keep my eyes open. You say you trying to get your spine blown. Though I don't even know ya. I know enough to get you high flow. I got about a half an ounce of that tree. Got about a half a cup of that lean. I say, go on and kick your feet up. I'ma go ahead and twist the weed up. She said, cool to say what I think. I said, go on and do what you feel. She said, bend me over that sink. I said, damn, you wish it's my will. Get the feeling that you might be. Tell me, are you high? Tell me, are you high, baby? Get the feeling that you tell me, are you high? Tell me, ask me. Get the feeling that you tell me, are you high? Tell me, are you high? Get the feeling that you tell me, are you high? Tell me, I get the feeling that you might be. Did I turn you on? You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm feeling that you might be. And we ain't even smoked, but you swear I got that dope. And I'm thinking you like to be. Every word I speak got you flowing off your seat. And I'm knowing that you like me.
All right, what's up? What's up, gang? It'd be like that sometimes, man. Why does it do that? Crazy. All right, anyways, I was saying just what up to everyone. Happy to be here. Let's get it. Let's look at some charts. We have a lot of things happening here in a few minutes. So let's dive into it. And then we have New York Open, and then we also have another round of some news events. So let's catch up with the market. Let's see what's in store here. We've had a pretty big drop over the course of the last 24 hours. We traded back into this big push down over here, mitigated this here with NASDAQ, and it's kind of climbed its way back up. Now the question is this it? Is this enough of a pullback, of a retracement for the market to continue? The market is pretty efficient over here. It does look like we still have another sell-off here and maybe even drop in there. So not quite convinced that we're done going to the downside. S&P has a lot of room to drop still. And so does Dow. Dow also has quite a bit of imbalances, mitigations left. So yeah, I wouldn't get too not too convinced that we're done moving up by any means. But let's look at some small time frame stuff, and then let's look at the big picture as well. So looking at the market right now, Dow has, I guess, dropped the least amount. It's been pretty aggressive. So it's been pretty. It's like it's just holding down the fort to the downside. It's really refusing to sell off the same way everything else is. And there's some decent movement during London session. There was a decent mitigation right here. The market rallied. Buenos dias. And then, we have the continuation again. So could we see another reversal out of this range with Dow? Is possible, but of course we want to keep in mind the rest of the indices. But yeah, there's definitely a nice drop before we've continued. The market's been now trading above this high for about 3 hours as well. So there's a chance, right? There's a chance we get the market over to here. Like I mentioned, there's a lot that the market can still drop down. So reversals out of here are possible, but not something I'm looking for really a long-term move. And then looking at S&P and NQ. Now I'm giving you guys the small time frame stuff first, and then we'll dive into other things here in a second. But I mean, you can see it pretty clearly. The market starts to sell off here around excuse me. There we go. There's the sneeze. We're in business. The market sells off, takes out hours and hours of liquidity here. So it takes out most of Tokyo liquidity. We get the push down and then the rally. So this is basically the same thing. Dow comes back down to this area, rejects it and rallies. Nothing else did. So only Dow Jones came all the way back down and then kept pushing. Meanwhile, we have NASDAQ and S&P that haven't quite worked their way here. So that's possible. Now, zooming out a little bit more. If the market was going to provide, let's say, selling opportunities, there's a couple areas where it could. You have a little bit of this Asian open right here where NQ is rejecting at the moment. So that's one thing. And then I want to pull up the yen here because the yen just came into my zone again. And at this point, guys, this is where I would be taking my my sell, actually. So let's look at this here. I like a sell out of this area. It's already rejecting it. Unfortunately, I just wasn't ready for the move right away. So if I was gonna take this, I think I'd have to under leverage a little bit, but it is looking like a 3 contract situation here. The market's just spiked into it just now. And it's still valid, actually. So we can take a position on this. Let's see. And then, yeah, I'm going to tackle it on. I'm going to go 3 contracts here with the yen. We're in there. All right. The only thing, and honestly, I should have just gone half R to start this. The only downside to this could be if the rest of the majors are just moving pretty aggressively. So let's see how everything else is fluctuating around here. Everything's, cleared these highs. A lot of bullish volatility over here. So you're seeing a lot of liquidity swept here and then some possible reversals. Australian just took out tons of liquidity, NZD, Euro. So everything is flying. So the dollar overall had that bullish move across the board. coming into possible mitigations with the Swiss franc. I know some of you asked about selling pound. I was against it. I think there was just too much movement. The yen is currently like sitting right around entry. CAD just took out highs. Euro just took out liquidity. And then we have NZD and Australian that are clearing liquidity, playing into some of these zones. So overall, I like the yen idea, right? Here is the short up about 150 times, at least copied over. This is a copied over 15 accounts. So, I mean, yeah, decent rejection so far. In order for me to go break even with this idea with the yen, I want to see it drop this distance. So I want to see it go down, basically trade down into here a little bit more. With a pretty good reversal, then we're in this. Conservatively, you know, we have a lot of price action here, a lot of choppiness. So the market just trading back into, honestly, just trading back into this sell-off right there. It's a possibility. If you want to get really conservative, trade even a 1.5 or whatever, in a high probability exit. If you don't want to take this too far, then just trading into this makes a lot of sense. The market is pretty efficient up until really trading lower into these zones. So if it's going to take out any sort of liquidity, you have London session lows over here, and then you have Asian session lows over down to here. So now, guys, look at this. It has mitigated, so great reversal. No reason to keep our risk any more than it needs to. Fantastic. We're up about, well over that 1 hour now. This was slightly under leveraged. So fantastic. We're looking at, let's see, the entry was over here. Currently we're running, oh, my bad. Let's see, clear this. Whatever. Here we go. So we're at about a 1.4R, almost about a 1.5R. Oh, this is dropping super nicely. At this point, yeah, like I said, we have London lows over here, and then Tokyo lows would be dropping down into this range. So I think at least clearing some of this London lows looks great. Coming down past the 2R. At this point also, I do believe that there's no reason to have any extra risk. Honestly, I'm not even going to have any risk on the table anymore. I'm just going to go into profit. Full drop here. There was no demand, so it was a very quick move. I think trading down into London lows just makes a lot of sense at this point as well. I know this was super fast, very, very quick. So I don't really expect, for those of you, I know some of you were ready, kind of more prepared for that kind of move. So if it's, if you're able to like lock that in, then awesome. But for now, yeah, let me check the chat here. Who was able to very quickly get in there? I have to look at oil buys. Getting ready to take NQ shorts. Cool. Just got in 6J. I don't really take currencies, but I did like what I saw with the other currencies highs. Awesome. Can you see my entry on the 1 minute? Sure. I'm up at the very top. Pretty close. 0.06528. It's coming right back up, which kind of sucks. Let's see if this just wants to fill some of the imbalance and then just rally and then push back down. But no risk on the table anymore. Right. Yeah. The way I have it set up is worst case scenario, the market does turn back around, then it is what it is. It's like not really a big deal. It didn't copy over to. That sucks. Oh, maybe I didn't have enough margin. It didn't copy over on one of my accounts, sadly. That would make sense. I could see that. All right. Well, it is what it is. Wasn't prepared enough, and that's okay. It was super fast. Honestly, I just adapted to it very very quickly, and I had the resources set up for it. Right, the limit, the how to take on the how to set up the contract size. So it was all set in stone pretty quickly. So just I had some advantages here. So I think conservative, taking your exits to clearing these London lows, kind of trading into this traffic. The most conservative exit would be like right now, where we're at now, taking a 1R and then just kind of calling it. I just feel like with the lack of demand that we saw, we have just more to go. So I'm not really too. I think we can hold this. And if we're looking at other assets, you have the Asian London lows over here as well that the market looks like it wants to target, whether it's Euro, NZD. There's just a lot. There's a lot of these that I think it looks like it wants to just keep pushing further and further down. Even with Australian mitigating down here, it kind of looked like, oh, okay, are we going to get a reaccumulation? But then the majors, right, all these dollar pairs, they pump to liquidate and then quickly lose all of that momentum. So at least the move that we see to the upside wasn't a confirmation of bullish structure. It was a liquidation event. So I'm gonna ride it out. We'll see if things go our way. I wouldn't be surprised because it's been squeezing quite a bit. So you see how you kind of have this like trending movement. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up trading down into some of this imbalance. Like if the market were to work its way down to like over here, I wouldn't even be that surprised either. Not that it needs to. I don't think we need to take it all the way down there. But yeah, I just kind of want to see how this rallies with the yen. If we look at this from a 4-hour perspective, now we've been in a downtrend for quite some time. The market had that aggressive movement down to here. This became efficient. The market swept these lows and then quickly came back up. So it does seem to me like we are starting to lose a lot of momentum. And when the market does drop, it's just to come back up time and time again. So the last bit of inefficiency seems to be back down here in this imbalance from Sunday's price action. So trading back into kind of the beginning of the week, it makes sense. I think we could see it. All right, so let's go back and look at indices, right? So where can we go here? What's happening here? Where are we trading to? We just saw a big spike into basically, honestly, a lot of choppiness. One sec. Yeah, so we saw it kind of push down or push up into here. NQ takes out the Tokyo highs, trades into the choppy New York session price action we had yesterday. S&P did the same thing. Dow Jones did the same thing. Dow actually ends up clearing all of this and works its way into almost New York Open. So New York Open is trading a little bit higher. So at this point, we see a liquidity capture and then a quick move down. So based on what happens next, I mean, this is looking like a potential shakeout opportunity here. Now that we've taken out London highs, we've taken out Tokyo highs, and the market very quickly loses that momentum if we end up just maintaining structure down here. This is the classic, the signature. We've seen this a million times. If we end up just, all right, chilling over here, luring in the break and retest buyers, then we might have an opportunity here, whether it's with NQ, S&P, or Dow Jones. One of these look like they can definitely do some damage. Okay. All right, so at least looking at back to the yen, for those of you that are in this with me, does look like, all right, it's holding structure pretty well after it chopped up for the last 5-10 minutes or so. Starting to break through. Again, this is a conservative exit, which would be here where we're seeing this area right now. If this goes and targets Tokyo lows, then your target would be actually right over here, pushing it down to this level. For those of you that were taking Bitcoin buys, I think we've already seen the mitigation as well. So those of you that are managing that, manage your stops accordingly. And I want to just compare how the rest of the dollar pairs are moving. The yen honestly has a lot of momentum. So we did choose correctly. Euro's dropping aggressively. CAD is also making its move downwards. So yeah, everything is moving down really well, really nicely. I think the yen has the most momentum. So that is really what we love to see here. And we're about to clear these London lows over here. So clearing this range will give me another movement. I'll tighten up my stop one more time if it clears that, because that's when we tend to see, like when the market gives us a sweep. When the market takes out liquidity like that, that's when either it's going to reverse aggressively or just maintain it. If it does, I don't want to give too much back to the market, you know? So if it does clear these lows, I'm going to tighten this up to like the 1R that we had like right over here. Okay, so I got an alert set there if that's what happens. All right, now going back to indices here, the small time frame here, we had NFP, clear out liquidity. It comes back in and actually starts to trade below these lows before where it broke out across the board, except for Dow. It's still trading within the range. But yeah, so at this point, it's moving sideways. That's cool. Some sideways price action. I think what I really want to see at this point to get really strong confirmation for a sell, I kind of want to see it break below, and then we start to see like a bearish structure start to form. That would make more sense. So if we break below, especially considering that NQ and S&P already are starting to dip below the open, that NFP open, that makes a bit more sense in my opinion. All right, guys, so we saw the yen trading into just where we've seen tons of support before. It's always possible that the market may want to reverse out of here at this point. It could just want to build a little bit of liquidity before another push down. But I do think these lows are very vulnerable. A lot of support, and it's London session lows. So just so you guys can kind of see where we're at here. All right. I might hit my target with my Tradetopia accounts before like the full exit. So just keep that in mind. But the rest of it should just keep doing its thing. All right, so we're seeing now NQ come back. So, okay, let's say the market now doesn't like sustain and it just goes really bullish or something. Is there another area where we could be looking for sells here with whether it's NASDAQ or whether it's Dow? And there's a couple areas, right? We have the trade from way up here. So we have way up to the top where we had this pump up. We never came back to, so that's kind of just loading there. Still waiting for us. Then yesterday, New York Open clears the highs and then everything else drops. So I want to show you guys this here real quick. So yeah, we clear it. We got a little bit of resistance, New York Open vibes. And then after that, this thing is gone. So you see it push and then goodbye. Now we just want to double check and make sure, like, all right, did this mitigate this open already for NASDAQ or not? Okay. So as I'm looking at this over here, it doesn't look like it. So we clear it and then everything else drops. So this has potential. This has mitigation potential later. Go to the 1 minute, check that out. Right there. Okay. Cool. After that happens, it does look like we have another movement to the upside that that entices buyers before everything reverses again. And that's right over here. So right around 10:15 a.m., the market starts to rip to the upside before it instantly reverses and then actually starts to create some resistance. So this kind of starts to move sideways here. But this move is what I'm getting at. We see a pretty big move to the upside. It briefly breaks below, creates more support, and then it just kind of starts to chop up within this range until it finally just works its way further and further down. So could we see reversals out of here, which would be taking out this liquidity, trading within this imbalance, and then closing out the buy order for another drop? So these are two areas that I could see have some key reversals for NASDAQ. Right now, however, it's maintaining this really well. So it cleared the highs, came back down, and then now we're still trading down here. Still holding this down. Those are signs. Those are good signs that, okay, the market might have already made its high, at least for a tradable, at least for now, right? We can kind of see it sustain, and then whether it's going to come up and then drop, or it's going to break below, create bearish structure, and then make its next move. So we have one sell zone, second sell zone, and more so up here, and the third one, which is now what's currently forming, which is over here. So typically for me, if I want to shake out, and if we see a big movement like the one that we saw here with NFP, it would have to trade within it and then lure in buyers. But we're already breaking below this. So we're already cracking below. So at this point now, I want that break of structure. And I want demand here. So I want something like this, which is what it's doing now, which is great. And then I want it to stay here. Like, all right, keep it. Prove that you're bearish, that there are actually buy and sell orders here. Then, great, we can look for shorts somewhere up here. and then, you know, keep the party going. So right now, this is more of what we're looking for in the market. NQ breaking below, strong bearish movement. S&P the same, Dow is doing the same. So they're all pretty similar right now. And then they're working their way down. So this could bring us to a buy scenario now. Okay. Again, we're bearish, very bearish. The market tries to go higher and then it fails. So now we have to think in probabilities. What are the chances that NQ is going to hold up over here? So if we're looking at how the market is working its way back down, if this is our, you know, intra-session range right here, almost at a 50% pullback with NASDAQ. Dow is dropping as well. Dow's pullback is almost at a 50%. So you have NQ, S&P, and then you have Dow. Dow over here, this is the zone from the low to the high. Dow's at a 50% as well. So it looks like it's between NASDAQ and S&P for a potential buy. However, since, yes, we do have a the 5 minute, like things turn around here and we went bullish and the structure's there. So I do think we can get a good trade out of here. Now, what I want to be more mindful is the exit on the way up. So taking the exit and also even the risk. Like you could, if you're going against a lot of the momentum and, for example, like from yesterday's structure, we're definitely still bearish. And I understand not wanting to have a full risk if you're going against the trend, especially on the higher time frames, on the lower time frames as well. So going half R with something like this makes sense, and then a conservative exit also makes sense. So let's see it through. Right now, the yen, just to give you guys the update, the yen, so we're up here about, let's see. Yeah, like 2R-ish, just about a little under 2R. We've lured in quite a bit of buyers within this zone, so I think the liquidity enticement is definitely happening. Let's see this. Let's come on. Let's work it down. Let's take out these London lows. After that, then I will tighten up my stop to here. And worst case, we get just about a 1R. All right, so let me mark up the NFP open. That way we can start to get a good idea of what could start to set up here. So there it is for NQ. So right from that 7:30, you see obviously money come in to liquidate orders. Ideally, this works, but only if the structure is solid. And right now, if it's going to come right back into it, unfortunately, I might have to pass on this. So same thing with S&P, same thing with Dow. If this just comes right back in, not enough for me. What are you guys deciding on with the yen so far? I'm not looking for buys necessarily on YM. I think YM probably isn't going to work out. Maybe NQ. All right, so Greg's in there with the yen. Blipped in there with the yen. I think a few of you are in there. Pending hit. Okay, Joe's in there with the yen. Love it. Good stuff, guys. All right. Let's go. Quick. Y'all quick with it. Let's get it. Let me know here in the chat if you are looking at other ideas. And remember, this yen setup was shared. This yen one that was shared here several times throughout the last few weeks. So let's see. I believe I even talked about it yesterday. I gave you guys a heads up when it was getting closer. And then during yesterday's setups, it was in here. So you had it beforehand. All right. Okay. So we're starting to establish more time under the lows. Great. NQ working its way down. S&P. It does look like NASDAQ has a bit more bearish structure for right now. So if the longer we're here, if we go into like New York Open and we're still trading below, I like that. I like that for a short with NQ then. That's going to be nice. Let's see if that's the case. Okay. So while we're doing that, since this is setting up pretty well, things are just sustainable at this point. Let's go take a look at some of like metals and oil. So right now we have the yen active. We have NASDAQ's setup, pending, potentially creating something there. And then let's go take a look at gold and silver. Now, yesterday, I did not take a gold buy in here, despite wanting to. And I didn't because of the way it was working its way down. So we get to the reversal zone here and actually perfectly cleared liquidity. I wanted entries here where we had previous levels of support, and it traded right down into this area as well. But one, we didn't get a higher high and it wasn't sustainable. Two, gold was working its way down pretty aggressively compared to silver. So I was a bit more mindful on that. And then silver did eventually work its way back down to here, in which silver was then a valid buying opportunity. However, for the sake of risk and reward, I wanted a deep retracement. So I preferred to just opt out of any silver trades unless we got into a deeper pullback, which we didn't. So unfortunately, didn't get into metals for the buys. However, there is still potential for shorts. And I know some of you, we talked about this yesterday, but we had that big pump with silver on Friday that takes out liquidity and then drops. And you have an order block right here. This would also be taking out this week's highs. So seeing the market reverse out of silver definitely is possible. However, I do want us to keep in mind gold as well. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on things here so far. The price action we got with silver would be trading out of last Friday's price action. And then last Friday's price action, we kind of already traded out of this week too. So that might be like right around in this range as well. We see it one more sweep to the high before the market drops with gold, which is like right here. So gold has this push up and then everything else drops. Here you go. You have it right there. I'll show you guys here real quick. Yeah, gold makes one more move up, and then from here, this is where it kind of just starts to free fall. Right there. All right, let's zoom out a little bit. And, I mean, maybe we see reversals out of here, and then silver gets to the same zone around the same time. So let's see. right around this range. So right now we're seeing gold start to take out Monday's Asian highs and trade into yesterday's New York session. You have silver kind of slower to working its way up to those levels. So that's why I do think that silver can get us a decent shorting opportunity over here as well. I feel like we could have a shot at something here. All right, so that stays there. What I'll do here is I'll just drop the setup in the school. So let's get this written up. Today's setups, obviously we were live a little early today. December 16, 2025. We got silver here. As always, right? As always, keep in mind divergence with gold. Meanwhile, we have 6J running. All right, so we got this one going. So I'll just throw this one in here. This one's active. I should probably do this more often, but so active ideas, right? Active ideas, 6J, running in profit, risk free. Okay, I'm gonna post this. There we go. And then to follow up with this as well, look at what we just saw happen. So let's see if this holds up, but we saw the market build up some liquidity, start to rally to the upside. So it comes down sideways. All of a sudden, it's playing out of where we had the London lows. So this creates more support, lures in some buyers, trades back into this consolidation. And as quickly as it goes up, it comes back down. So I'd love for this to keep working its way down. And this may be acting as more retail buyer enticement before this drops. So for now, this stays. Just going to keep it like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move my stop. See, I'm on the 15-second here. So we had a little bit of choppiness here before it drops. So I'm actually going to just move this just to right there. We get a little bit more, worst case scenario, if this turns around, we're getting at least something out of this trade. All right, let's see what the update looks like on indices. How are we moving along here? Okay, we swept the highs. We broke below. And we traded below this low for 9 minutes, maybe 10. Let's see here. For a whopping 12 minutes is what we were trading below these lows strongly. I would really prefer for this to come back down again and hold this low going into New York Open. Otherwise, it's just not enough for me. Especially look at Dow. Dow, it's barely gotten below, and it's just coming right back up. So, I don't know, man. I'm not sold on this trading out of NFP successfully. I look at it like I'm scouting talent here. right? And this has to be just good enough. And right now, it's not quite. Not quite. Okay, so we got this. So at the moment, let's say we're a little bit over. What are we at? Like 1 and change, risk reward wise. Okay. It breaks below this, and I'm tightening up to here. That'll give us a solid 1R. Okay, now what we haven't looked at yet, because we looked at, excuse me, we looked at indices, we're talking about how it needs to prove itself still. We looked at metals that are a little bit away from an entry, and what's remaining really is taking a look at oil. Oil is just bleeding out, man. Oil is just absolutely bleeding out. Where are you going, pal? We have expiration here in a couple days, so I'm sure volume is either switching, probably more or less now. We're about to break below the daily level here. I want to see what this looks like on continuous. Look at this. We're about to break daily levels. If y'all have like diesel, gas operated cars, man, this is you're living the life. Gas got to be cheap right now. So, yeah, I mean, would not be surprised if we trade back down to like 53, 54. No entries for me or anything yet. I think I just need the market to give us the entry here. So we can't really do much until we get there. So let's see. So CLG contracts active here pretty soon. I don't know if volume has switched over yet. Enough volume has switched over for that to be valid for oil, but definitely sometime either today, tomorrow, Thursday. Okay. All right. NQ staying down though. Let's see it. We just might have it in a trade for New York Open. The yen building up quite a bit here. I wonder what the rest of the majors are doing. Is it holding up the same way? So Australian came all the way down, bounced a lot more aggressively. So it came back down, pretty significant bounce here. Very similar. But the yen is trading down here, Australian's trading up there. So it's a good sign. NZD, same thing. Came back down, bounced. The yen is trading much lower. Euro, same. CAD, same. Okay. So if it is going to play out, again, confirmations are there. We are in the most bearish asset. CLG is trading with more volume than F as of this morning. Beautiful. Yo, Mike, 2012 Ferrari, 458 for 155K. Yeah, Nancy's a size small in Ferrari. What color? Red? Una slow cherry red. ¿Me puedes explicar en español lo que ves? Ahí creo que Nancy te está dando la confirmación. Gold sell at 4,400. I don't remember actually what I was looking at. All right. Is this it? Is this finally going to break through? Are we finally going to crack through this? What do you guys think? Let's look at gold. I think the sells were, they were up there. $4,400. Yeah. That's that 4-hour sell we got going on up there. For sure. Way up here. I'm looking at a potential sell here as well, with silver going around 64.50, 64.60. All right, London lows. This consolidation overall. Okay, we're breaking through a little more. Great. Beautiful. All right. Alerts are set once we start to break below here as well. Or if. I guess nothing's promised, you know. Kind of bummed that it didn't copy on one of them because of margin. That sucks. Came back down here, created another level of support liquidity before bouncing again back up to here. Okay. There's a lot of imbalance for some of these dollar pairs to drop down as well. Like looking at the pound. Like if the pound wants to go down some more, it's got a lot it can drop into, which could push the yen further down. Looking at CAD as well, a lot of imbalance it can push lower into. I mean, Euro has tons of liquidity here. So a lot of the similar situation where it's got just a lot of consolidation from Tokyo and London. And then on top of that, we have just a bunch of trending here. So, yeah, I'm not surprised if this thing just keeps pushing down. If the yen keeps pushing down. If we do break these lows here, then I'm going to move my stop to this previous high we just got right here at 0.06519 right there. So if we do break through, I'm going to tighten this to where we have a good structure point. Okay. So we're less than 15 minutes away from New York Open. We're looking at a NASDAQ here once again. We had the 1 minute break below the structure. We've gone back and forth around here for the last 20 minutes or so. Not the strongest bearish trading by any means. It's now coming back into this level 14 minutes before New York Open. You see it happening with Dow and S&P as well. I'm okay with missing out on this trade. I'm okay with that. Something about the way that this has traded doesn't have me committed to it. It breaks below, but it just it doesn't seem like there's really a lot of sellers here. It kind of gets eaten up over and over and over again. And so I would honestly rather just wait. Maybe we see NQ trade and liquidate a lot of this New York session liquidity, trade into this imbalance. I think I'd rather just miss out on this first idea and then take one a little bit higher. And then this would be taking out a London session high as well. Okay, so the yen. The yen has just pushed below the London low. Not necessarily the entire consolidation, but it is breaking below this London low here. Stops typically are going to be below here, so I would imagine we go another notch lower. But either way, I am going to start to tighten up my stop here. All right, things are looking smooth. I'm less than $500 off from hitting my max for my consistency target for at least for my Tradefy accounts. Let's see. All right, now we're starting to push a little bit more. There we go. Okay, cool. So I'm going to move this, tighten this right there. Now, worst case, we're getting a 1R out of this trade if everything decides to turn around. I think this is a great place to take your profit too. Sweeping these lows makes sense. Good exit. I think since we're leading and everything else kind of just seems like it could just keep pushing lower too, it just feels like I can let this thing run a little bit longer. The euro has a lot more it can push down into with just even what it did earlier. So just trading lower here. The where is it? The pound as well has a lot of imbalance. It can just crack through and start to trade into. So I'm gonna lean in on that and see where we go. And then worst case, we get a 1R out of this. So get another risk reward, potentially lose a risk reward. I'm willing to roll the dice. And we have New York open here in a little bit. Let's see it happen. How are you guys managing this? Are we taking profit right now? Are you holding a little bit longer? What's up? What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? All right, now it has very much broken this consolidation, this range, kind of coming back in a little bit here. Wasn't a massive spike, and it just absorbed all of it really quick. So let's see. Holding to fill imbalance. The one over here? Or which one? Where, I guess, exactly. Or all the way down over here. Way, 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 way down over here. Okay, right now, swept London lows. Ideally, this doesn't present us shakeout types of confirmations. If that's the case, then that would be, for me, not really a reason to get in, but a reason to get out. So, for example, we sweep the low. If the market then just trades up here and holds this down, then, yeah, that'll be like a manual exit if the market wants to do something like that instead. So we'll keep an eye out on that for sure. Closing out, didn't get the best entry. Okay, cool. Holding a little longer. Holding a bit longer. All right. Exit is 0064845. 0064845. Oh, yeah, you're way over here then. Okay, I can see it. Si la plata tiene estructura alcista, ¿por qué dirías que vender? Porque tiene una oportunidad de ventas. Mitigación. En temporales menores. So you asked, if silver is bullish, why would you want to sell? Right? Which is a good question. Básicamente aquí lo que yo estoy identificando, y también en 15 minutos está bajista. Hizo aquí un cambio de tendencia aquí. So we did go bearish on the 15 minute when we broke below here, and we traded below here for the rest of Friday and then going into Sunday. Pero aquí hay una compra alcista que captura liquidez y hay un bloque de órdenes aquí. Entonces, y hay liquidez aquí. Entonces, todo esto nos da señales para una reversa por aquí. Might not get this trade, guys. I might have a reason to let go of this pretty quickly. So we swept the lows. The market instantly came back up. Now it's about seeing whether this is going to be sustainable or if it's just kind of bounce and then actually drop right away. If this reverses pretty quickly back down, then cool. We stay holding. If the market decides to chop up and just like stay up here for some time, then on a little dip down, I'll just close manually. So now it's about seeing what kind of demand we're going to get here. Are we going to not see demand, or if that's going to be the case and the market's just going to stay down here. So right now what we want to see is the market to get out of these prices as fast as possible. Okay, so NQ here, it's just not good enough for me. I'm not gonna trade this. So desde aquí con Nasdaq, no voy a buscar nada. Voy a borrar esto. So I'm not taking sells on NQ. I know we have NFP open and it clears the highs, but the structure here sucks. It's just not it. So I don't trust it. I don't believe it. So I'm gonna wait for this to go higher. And then we have New York open first in 6 minutes. And then we have news in about 20. The yen is only going a little bit higher and higher and higher. So again, if we end up trading with New York open and we just stay up here, then yeah, it's going to be a wrap. So we'll see. And we knew this was a possibility, right? We knew that the moment it took out the London lows and the low here, that this is either going to confirm structure or going to create demand. So now that's what we're seeing. It's kind of the risk that we were willing to take there. Appreciate you, Mafia Penguins. Mafia Penguins. How do you get to that name? How do we get to Mafia Penguins? What does it take to be a Mafia Penguin? Interestingly enough, now that we're going into this New York Open, now Dow is starting to trade down here a little bit more. So we broke below, kind of came back up, came back down, came back up. So stayed within the range a bit more than we stayed below the range. So it's kind of messy here. So like I said, I think this is going to be one of those trades where it could go either way. NQ did trade under here for a little bit of time, about 10, 15 minutes, but it just came back up so fast, so often. I'm going to prefer to stay out of this, but I could see it playing out. However, I give myself the green light to not take trades that I'm like unsure about. Like that's just okay with me. All right, look at this, guys. The yen just came back up so fast. So very low demand over here for the yen. Looks like if this stays like this, then we're better off getting out. Stop profit hit with 6J. My entry wasn't the best, so my 1R was a little lower. Cool. Cool. Indices playing back down to right before we're getting the open. Interesting. So now it's starting to like maintain lows in these last minutes before this thing kicks off. I might go half R then. Now that we're starting to get back down to these levels, I might do a half risk sell, but the question is which one? What's going to have the best chance here to short? The gap? A gap. Yeah, it's probably the contract change. So look at this right now. New York open. Market's trading back down to here. Okay, cool. So let's say that this was going to, you know, play out. What has the best setup here? Trade NQ or YM in this imbalance. Where would you take this? In this order block? Or in this imbalance? We got 90 seconds or so. So let's say you wanted to take the trade somewhere over here. Before this thing just, let's say maybe it drops all the way down. I don't know. We'll just say down to here. MNQ is looking like, let's see if it was 250. We could probably push this to 4 units. Yeah. All right. So 4 contracts there. If it's NQ. If it's Dow. About 12. All right. It looks like if it is going to play out, it is going to be Dow. Look at this. Now it's really broken through. It's bleeding out. New York open in 5 seconds here. Not looking to buy Dow Jones, by the way. It's dropping way too aggressively. So not looking to buy this here. No, sir. All right, now it's coming back up. We have NQ coming back up as well. It's climbing. What's got the most momentum? Let's see. Pretty close, honestly. Flying back in here. Let's see, is it Dow? Looks like Dow lost some steam. And Q is ripping. And Q had about a 50% pullback so far. Dow holding up. All right, let's see it. Right now, it looks like it could be the yen if it trades back up to here, to short. Not the yen, the YM. NASDAQ pulling back a bit faster at a 50% pullback. Oh, there we go. So is the yen. So is the YM. So is Dow. This is going to be very much like last second decision making. S&P actually really chill here. Should it be S&P? Do we have a rare S&P trade today? Interesting. This is going back and forth so much. This is the worst when it does this. Absolutely the worst. Now NQ is looking better. It's trading below that 38.2, creating liquidity up here. Okay. Patience, my friends, patience. S&P way down there. All right. It seems like we're going to get more and more time to make a decision. It's like teasing money in and out. And S&P looks like the best trade. So let's see what that would need. What would that look like here? So let's say we traded up to here on S&P. What would this short look like? I'd say I'd take it like right here. I'm gonna go half R on these. 250. 7 contracts right there. Okay. All right, now let me do a quick update for you guys because the yen, obviously it's working its way all the way back. Our original prediction did seem to be appropriate, which was the sweep of the lows here was the priority. So it was more of a liquidity capture. And then from here, even if this, like now that we've traded up here for some time, we've been trading up here for, it came down and we've been moving sideways for about 12 minutes or so. It seems like this kind of holding up a bit better. So if this does turn back around and starts to drop, I'm going to actually take profit on a drop back down. Unless this thing just tanks like right now. But it's looking more and more like that. All right. Meanwhile, S&P still looks the most valid for this potential sell on indices. All right, so now we have the yen starting to drop. Let's see, is this going to be quick? Are we going to chop? What are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, so indice wise, looks like Dow is starting to rip. I wonder how we get here. Oh yeah, these are pushing right now. Dow and NQ. And then S&P slowly grinding its way up. And now we're seeing yen work its way right back down. If we don't chop and we just break through, I'm going to just tighten my stop and see if we keep pushing. Okay, NQ way up here at the full pullback. Dow now chilling under the 50%, actually under the 38.2, while S&P is now above the 38.2. Okay, so Dow Jones it is. Look at the difference here. NASDAQ came up, starting to lose some momentum, so it filled the imbalance, starting to drop, while Dow hasn't worked its way up there yet. I think if Dow comes back up to here, then that probably pushes NQ up to this range anyways. So I'm going to set up the limit order here. And then exits. Yeah, we can clear London lows here. So look at the difference. Trading way up here. Dow obviously dropping since NQ was dropping. But I don't know if this is going to hold up. I don't think it will. Meanwhile, update with our yen idea. We're starting to see it chop up. See, we're seeing it move sideways here after clearing these lows. So we break below here. I'm just going to take my profit down here. So now I just want to see this push down. And then I'll take my gains and call it a day. And I'm looking for yen, YM shorts back up here if we get back up here. How did you guys decide to tackle this off so far, or tackle this on so far? Did you guys take NQ sells anyways? Did you stay out? Or do you just not even like the trade in the first place and you're just going to avoid it completely? What's your approach so far? Do one for each. I want to take a full R with YM and half R with NQ. I wouldn't do double. That doesn't really make sense. You're taking the same trade twice. Top Step. I feel like Top Step is just freezing a lot now. What's up, Hector? Where you been, bro? Yeah. It's kind of the nice thing about having different firms, right? Tradefy has been pretty cool. I haven't had any issues, no freezing. It's been chill. Super chill. So yeah, if you're in the market, obviously you guys have the code. I think it's above me or something like that. And then we do have news in 5 minutes. So looking at it smooth. So while Dow remains a better short, in my opinion, I do like the buy better on, things froze here. I like the buy much better on NQ. So even though we have Dow over here in this zone, I'm not buying this thing. I don't get in, if it's, if it's a bear clawing down, I'm not going to get in front of that. I'd rather just wait for Dow to work its way over to here, to NQ to work its way over to here, and then I'm open to something over here instead. So let's see here. Now, what would this look like for NQ? See how far behind it is right there. Someone said secured profits. Nice, very nice. Were you in shorts? TP Dow hit. Fire. Congrats. Okay, so I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to look at MNQ for the buys. All right, so what do the buys look like over here? I'm going to go half R on this one as well, since we're going against a lot of momentum. And let's say we just trade it into here somewhere. What would 3 contracts be? 2. Oh, that's fine. Okay. So this is what we're looking like for this position. I'm going to tell NQ move to break even. Yeah, for sure. Move to break even here. This would have been a perfect sell. It would have been a perfect sell, but it just didn't meet my confirmation. So, it's all good for me. This left liquidity up here for Dow. At some point, we might work our way back over here. Yeah, if you're in short, I'd say, especially if you were in NQ shorts, not a bad time to take profits. I think I caught the sell. Can't get in. Stop. Top step to even check. Oh man, that's a bummer. Looks like the yen, man, the yen is still not even turning around at all to even give us some sort of profit. So the yen might come back for that 1R, that 1R TP stop profit. We'll see here. Dow bleeding out. S&P working its way down a bit faster than NQ, obviously. NQ here is the lagger for the buy setups. So this is the setup I'm going to be taking with NASDAQ over here. And then, so here my entry is at 25,117. My stop is at 25,073.75. So just a little over, this is about 40, little under 44 point stop. And then I do have targets around 25 to 35, 36. We'll kind of see. And then that would give us about a 2.76 risk reward. That's what we're looking like for possible NQ buys. So let me go ahead and share this in our community here. If you're not in the community, you'll see that QR code, and the link is in the description so that you can be in the free community. All right, so we have NQ here. Whoa, the yen. All right, cool. So the yen did its thing. It just traded way up, filled the imbalance, and then instantly dropped. I totally forgot about the news. So anyways, yeah, the yen closed this out. Still got some profits out of it, so cool. Oh, Top Step didn't close it because it's not doing anything because it's useless right now. So we'll see what those Top Step trades end up looking like. I don't know exactly what the outcome of that trade is going to be. So that's a Project X. Seems like they just suck, I guess. That's unfortunate for them. But yeah, we had the big spike into the imbalance, and then now it's starting to lose that momentum and work its way back down very quickly too. So now it captured that. So if you didn't have your stop here and you were like, you know what, I want to let it get into imbalance anyways, then maybe this plays out for you. But for me, this is a 1R trade now. Cool. This still leaves basically NASDAQ. So I don't really need the split screen anymore. We can just look at this like this. Yeah, there we go. And then here is what the yen is doing. So yen's news event swept it up to imbalance, dropped it right back in. So this definitely cleared out any sort of sellers, which included at least my stop profit. And then now it's coming back pretty fast. I actually do think this is going to end up playing out. Had a nice push, and then because now if it comes back down, there's really no incentive for it to come up again since it already cleared all of this. This thing is wilding right now. Ripping. I'm still down for the short on Dow as well. Just to make sure. Here we go. So taking a look at Dow, seeing where we're at. NASDAQ. I want to see if NQ takes out the London highs, these NFP highs here, and trades up to here. and where that takes, where that would take Dow Jones. Okay. Metals didn't do much with that news event. It didn't really care. It was kind of irrelevant. Looks like majors had the dollar had the bigger influence here. So it kind of came back up to rebalance that NFP movement across the board. Except for the yen, which it filled the imbalance and then just is like, but I want to go down. Look at this. The degen in me wants to short the yen again in this imbalance. Liquidity sweep. It looks like a shakeout potentially. But it doesn't take out sessions. It just takes out, it just rebalances. So we push up to here. We work our way down. Now we're actually even below where it opened. So maybe we end up getting some sort of mitigation setup or something later. Let me know if Top Step comes back to life at some point. See what these accounts look like. I don't have any risk on, so I don't know if it'll matter. Everything was would have been just what's it called? Take profit, stop profit. And right now, so I got my trade copier rolling now after testing it a few times, actually several times, and playing around with a whole bunch of different settings. But yeah, Trade Syncer, pretty sweet, honestly, pretty sweet, pretty dope. If you guys are trading multiple futures accounts, especially if you're trading with across different platforms, like once you get to the point where you maxed out whatever, Tradefy or TopStep or whatever it is, and then you want to connect them, and it could be like whether it's Tradevate accounts, Rhythmic accounts, Project X accounts, when it works, then yeah, it's pretty sweet. Okay, so it looks like Nas about to take out the NFP high. And then this is also bringing Dow pretty close to trading into the NFP, to mitigating NFP. So it's aligning really nicely. I wanted to take out the high and trade into here and see if that brings us to so that this trade could set up. All right, so sweet, that's working that way. Perfect. This is what we want to see. So micro at NASDAQ on micros take the high yet, but this is official now right there. Okay. Just about. Here we go. All right, awesome. So NQ taking out the highs. Now that NQ is taking out the highs and can maybe trade a little bit higher into here, the mitigation of this move of NASDAQ and Dow pushing down, that gives this trade, for me at least, a pretty good sign. So let me see if it gets up to here. So right now we're building up just more and more liquidity right where we had London highs before. Just a lot of liquidity here. I think we have one more push. I wonder if this is a little too high. I'm gonna keep it there though. I'd be taking out all of this, playing into these last order blocks before it drops. I'm with it. Let's see the pullbacks here. Now, S&P pulled back into this imbalance and is starting to drop a bit. Dow obviously doing more of the same. I'm not feeling FOMO. No fear of missing out or anything. If it gets up to here and it gives us the reversal, fantastic. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. So nothing like that. Don't want to take, well, because what happens is this happens to so many people, and you got to work on this, guys. Don't let this thing win. You can't allow, oh, it almost got me in, and then it starts to get away from you. So then now you take a trade so far from your planned entry, and you don't take the time to even, one, it's just not even the same risk reward anymore. And then two, you don't change the contract size or the lot size. So now you're trading with way more risk on the table. You know if you've done it. And then if it starts to come, then it would go basically where you would have gotten in. And let's say it's not even going to play out. And then now you're having a hard time taking the loss because it's so much more than you planned on. And then from there, it can get even worse because let's say you don't want to take that loss anymore. So you're like, oh, well, if it comes back to break even, I'll just get out. Or you move your stop. And then it's just a disaster. So keep your composure. Let the market come to you. Play it that simple. All right, let's see if we can log into Top Step here. I was pretty impressed with Trade Syncer. CEO did the live tutorial. I watched it with my funded futures. Nice. 1-3 on NQ shorts. Well done. Yeah, Top Step is fucked. What do they add at 3R? Are they going to give you money? Probably not, unfortunately. I mean, that'd be nice, but I don't know. If this trade was set and it did exactly that, I don't see why it wouldn't. Someone's like, I think I caught the sells. I hope so. I hope that's the case. Selling Top Step. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Also, a good reason why, building up your own live account helps. So as you get your payouts, guys, take a portion of that. If you have any debt, start tackling that off. If you don't have any, then, add some to your net worth, investment, stocks, Bitcoin, whatever. But then also make sure you're investing into your cash flow. So if you want to invest into your own live account, invest into, stacking more capital, whether it's with whatever firms, right? It can go a very long way. So as much as you may be investing into your net worth, also don't forget to invest into having access to more so you can make more. Hello, Mike. I was getting my Tradetopia merch, picking it up from Post. Thanks. Awesome, man. It got to you in Germany. Sick. Crazy. My screen just went full black. Yeah. Network error on Top Step. Yeah, I can't log in there either. Bueno pues. It is what it is. Great. So, regarding these shorts, I know a lot of you probably can't even take any of these trades. I know a lot of you guys are on Top Step. I know we got some Tradetopia people in here. A couple of you have Apex as well. What about my Apex people here? Or MFF people, CFDs? How's everyone else? Is it a Project X thing or is it like an AWS, whatever? I had a stop profit on Top Step, so I'm curious to see if they'll give me that. I think they'll probably give you that. From what I'm seeing is they're basically gifting things whenever these things happen. Like, hey guys, sorry, here's a discount. That's it. Here's a free reset. or whatever. Apex is good. Take profit traders all good. All right, cool. So a lot of consolidation for Dow and NQ keeps kind of pushing higher. So it's holding up really well. The bears are holding this really well. MetaMask is going to integrate runes, ordinals, BRC20. That's good for dog for sure. AWS reported downage since 6 a.m. But I don't think it was an AWS thing because, well, maybe it caused it, but like these trades triggered. Like there wasn't really an issue here until later. At least with Top Step. Like cause my on the NFP, the yen short that we took, like that triggered across the board. So I don't think it was an AWS thing. All right, here we go. NQ pushing higher and higher. Let's go. Happy and grateful. Likewise. All right. So we don't have any more news. We got what we were going to get. From here, we're getting to this 9 a.m. Sometimes there's just volatility just because it's the end of a new hour. Tomorrow we have the usual scheduled time, so 8 a.m. Central we'll be live. Today I went live early because of the NFP. Thursday I'll be live early as well because of CPI. So Thursday's going to be a good one. Yeah, CPI. Let's have a good time there. All right. In the meantime, while we're waiting here for a little bit more information across the board, let's take a look at stocks so far. Let's see. Webull back under 9, sadly. It's going to take a little bit longer there. All right. NQ poked back up in here. Dow. Man, Dow just is like, I just want to drop. So this is very enticing for sellers. Very enticing. A lot of sellers are in profit here. Let's see. What are the big winners and losers of the day today? Losers, Nintendo down, Pfizer's down. That's always good. We love to see that. Who's up today? Etsy's up a little bit. PayPal's up a little bit. ENPH, 4% jump. Nice. Big jump, actually. Cool. Fly, birdie, fly. Robinhood pushing. Beyond. CLFD. I have some of this. Cool. Let's see. Lulu continuing its run. Honestly, Lulu was a good pickup from September. About 25%, 28%. Solid. Coinbase, choppy, back and forth. Spotify coming back down here. Didn't hold this structure. I wonder if it goes even lower. Okay. Anyways, that's that. I know yesterday we had that Bitcoin mitigation out of 86,000 and change. It was very valid for those of you that were waiting to see what Ethereum does and where it gets to. So I think that was not a bad idea at all to stay out of Bitcoin for the sake of seeing ETH come back down to here. So I would still keep that zone pending for sure. Because the reversal out of here, I wonder where we'll have Bitcoin at that time. All right, so Dow is just like not Dow is just not trying to get us into this. It's like, no, I'm going to tank from here. Meanwhile, we have NASDAQ that came back into this area, dropping very aggressively. So if anything, let's just say the markets keep dropping, then I'm just keeping this NASDAQ buy here, as I've shared in the community as well. So that stays there. So this is the one that I'm waiting on. And then limits are set for that as well. Dow, I mean, maybe we get this later. I don't know. So that's what we got going on there. We have just a quick last review. We had the yen earlier. We got stop profited out for a 1R. Fantastic. That wrapped up. We have potential silver sells up in this range, as I've shared. And then with oil, no signs at all. The oil trade that we took up here would have been such a nasty swing. I wouldn't have held this by any means, but a nice 20R. What a move. What a move. So what did we do today? What was really, at the end of the day, right, what did we get accomplished? Across the board with just about a 1R across the accounts. If I'm going to get paid on Top Step because of our accounts, then we're looking at roughly, I think around like 7,500 on the session. But we'll see. At the end of the day, it's just a 1R. It's like that's what really matters, is what's the reward, the risk reward. So we'll stay tuned in. Any updates, I'll let you guys know here in the community. If you're not in the community, make sure that you get in there. If you're at a point where, you know, think about how we've been managing the trades today. So think about how the trades went today. Think about what your emotions were according to what you see. So did you panic when you were looking at the volatility, when you had to make decisions? Did you make impulsive decisions or not today? Put those things on paper, right? Journal it. I literally have write it down, put it on a sheet, make your own notion. You could use mine, whatever you want. If you're really, after years of doing this, you're still not making drastic changes in your behavior and you want more hands-on help, then guys, feel free to, you know, join us in the syndicate where we work together every day to improve these behaviors more than anything. So if that's you, then go ahead and scan the code on the right here to book your call, just to find out if it's right for you, if it's the right fit based on where you're at, everything that you've done in 2025, and if accelerating the process, having 10 years of experience, you know, I've managed millions in the market, and I've been doing this for a minute. So reproducing success is all we want to do here. So if that's you and you do not want 2026 to look like 2025, then scan that code on the right. I'm only taking on a few more people going into January. I want to really have us really locked in for that. So yeah, good stuff, guys. Much love as always. Appreciate you guys for being on. We started early, so the session is ending a little bit earlier than usual, but anything that's happening, and if you're not in the free community, go and scan that on the left. Take care, y'all. I'll catch you tomorrow, 8 a.m. Central. Peace out.